Hey, and a warm welcome to this podcast. David here from the ConsciousCreationAcademy.com. So please do visit the website, download yourself a free book, The Dream We Call Earth, and a whole bunch of training that I'm sure you'll love if you are into consciousness and expanding awareness, psychology, and all these things. Then you'll absolutely love it. So today's podcast is all about dreams. I was asked actually, what is dreams? How do they work? And all this type of thing. So I sat down and wrote down a very kind of mental list going through step by step what they are and my experience of them. I then felt Arron. So Arron's my broader self. I've been channeling Arron. He's been in my life since I was 3 and came through and kind of said, I feel this build up of energy, kind of saying, okay, shall I have a stab at this one? And so, of course, I relaxed. I felt as though part of me wanted to speak, and then the energy built up, and off we went. And it's always delightful to see where Arron takes it. So I hope you enjoy it. This is Arron speaking next. And if you are around this podcast, wherever it is, please subscribe or put a review or whatever it would be. You can visit us at theconsciouscreationacademy.com. Be delighted for you to download that book. Give us some feedback. People really love it. So let's get on with the podcast, all about the nature of dreams and how you can use them to create the life that you want. That's it. Speak to you soon. Welcome to this conversation. So if you are beginning to understand the nature of who you are and the nature of reality, then putting the idea of dreams into context will allow you to see how fluid your consciousness is. Remember, the word dream is just a word, and in your culture it is generally accepted that dreams are not real, but physical reality is real, that dreams are of the imaginary, and that physical reality is of the solid intellect. And yet nothing could be further from the truth. Reality itself is a multidimensional, multifaceted experience. And your dreams represent one version, one placement, one reality within a more complex and multidimensional experience. Your physical reality represents another. If you have explored anything with myself or David, the person through which I'm speaking, then you will have an understanding that each reality is created by the person that perceives it. So the same is true for physical reality and dreams. If you explore the nature of how these realities are created, you will realize that they are created in similar fashion. Both are experienced by the individual alone. Both are created by the individual senses that uses consciousness to create the form that it is experiencing. But each reality has a purpose within the multidimensional nature of reality. There are no accidents at all. And so why do you dream? You dream because the consciousness of which you are a part is simply too vast to be closeted all of the time. It needs release. Just as if you kept a child in a room all day and all night without allowing it to exercise, without allowing it to laugh and play and run around. The energy cannot be held within that consciousness. And so your broader consciousness yearns to play. It yearns to experience and create in ways that your intellect cannot understand. And so the body itself of a child wants to run around. It wants to play and be in the sunshine and the rain, to be connected with the weather in the ways that the intellect cannot understand either. The intellect is simply part of your thought processes, part of your mind that is pointed toward physical reality, which you create. The other part of your mind that is active and needs freeing is the inner consciousness, the inner mind, if you like. Both aspects are two faces of the same mind, of the same consciousness. The inner mind releases itself as you sleep to play and experience, to try out various directions that it may take. And in doing so, it creates its own reality. It is a misunderstanding to think that your dreams end when you turn your attention back to the consciousness that you regard as physical. Your dreams continue. For your dream reality, the inner reality, exists, in fact, before the physical reality that you hold so dear. In truth, your physical self is, in fact, much smaller in terms of its reach of consciousness than the inner self. The dream consciousness, the inner world, actually is the instigator of physical reality. And so your play, your experiences, as you release yourself into inner reality, you are able to visit places, create environments, talk to individuals that have not been born yet, in your terms, that never will be physical, in your terms, and go and explore, to communicate, to be social. You have a dream family, you have dream friends, dream environments that you enjoy visiting, just as you enjoy visiting other environments in physical reality. It is far vaster and more complex than the reality that you perceive. One of the main components of the dream world is that it is not couched in time. Events are not so solidly created. There's much more flexibility to explore events in different time periods. Each one you could think of as a single environment, another part of the multidimensional reality that exists. Within your own context of physical reality, imagine that this is your home station, the center point of your consciousness. But around you is an unlimited number of other realities that you are taking part in. However, you only get strong experience of those during your dreams. The body itself must also rest and be rejuvenated energetically, flushed out, if you will. The emotions that you hold, that you are so afraid to release in physical life, get held within the physical system. And so the physical system must be nurtured. It must be allowed to release the energy that is confining it, or you would find yourself in dire straits indeed. Without the release of the enzymes, without the release of the chemicals that you yourself create through your own thought and emotional processes, you would inhibit the body to such a degree that even after a short period without sleep, you would find yourself in pain, unable to move naturally, restricted in ways that you cannot imagine. And so the physical body as an organism needs time, in your terms, to create itself anew. As you remove your consciousness and place it into the inner reality, it expands. It is able to take on far more information than it is able to when focused through the intellect. The intellect forces information into certain compartments and places them in certain orders. When you are dreaming, you are not inhibited in such fashion. You are like a butterfly expressing itself, opening its wings and flying off in all directions. Of course, the information that you gain during your dreams cannot be held within the intellect. So one of the challenges that you have in terms of your own development is to encourage the intellect to allow information in from your dream realities. Often this will come in terms of impulses, remembering snippets of information, feelings and sensations or images. And I would encourage you, if you are to become a conscious creator of any note within your life, to begin to write down the dreams. Allow yourself to remember them. By nature, you remember far more than you realize. But because you have tainted the idea and the belief that physical reality is real and that the dream world is imaginary, you shun the information. You throw it in the bin, as it were. I would like you to reclaim the power of your dream self. Recognize that by nature, you were born from the inner reality where dreams exist. That's where you existed before, in terms of time, your life began. You took upon the role that you now place. You talked with co-creators that you connect and know within your physical reality, within that inner reality. And so it is far more natural for you to exist within that inner reality than it is to exist consistently within physical reality. Physical reality is not unnatural, but it is limited. It is a strong focus of attention, and therefore the individual consciousness that is experiencing this life needs to stretch itself. It needs to unburden itself with such a limitation that the physical reality is created. So the point of dreams is not just as separate or as a result of physical reality, quite the opposite. Physical reality exists because the dream world exists. From that inner world that you call dreams, all realities are created. Consciousness is flexible, able to spread its wings and to test itself. And so in terms of time, I would encourage you to think differently about dreams and imagine that your nighttime dreams come before the daytime where you experience physical reality and not the other way around. Your dreams are where you create the events of the physical reality that you will experience. And so go into your dreams each night with suggestions. Decide that you are not afraid of experiencing this inner world. Have a pad and paper by your bedside, and when you wake up, make notes of feelings, ideas, images, and suggestions. Even if nothing comes to you, you have to train yourself. You have to retrain yourself to experience your natural self and the connectivity between the physical reality and the intellectual reality and the unlimited dream reality. For they are of one mind, but not one intellect. So what are dreams? Dreams represent to you your experience of your source. Physical reality represents a version of reality that you take on roles and experience based upon what you have experienced and chosen within your dream reality. Imagine that physical reality literally rests within your dream reality and not the other way on. And with that, I bid you a fond good day. I send you the wishes that I have and best energy that I have. And simply to say that you are by nature a native of that inner reality. This is why the stories and the spiritual allegories that you have are not given from the intellect. They represent the inner knowledge that exists within the inner self and the inner reality. But remember that you are your own authority. If you have dream symbols, they are your dream symbols. You cannot learn and become a dream master or mistress by reading a book that somebody else has written. You must understand your dream symbols and symbology, and when you do, you'll begin to learn and educate yourself. Suggest that you go into your dreams and learn about abundance and joy. Suggest that you go into your dreams as you lay asleep, beginning to rest, that your body will release itself of pain. that you will expand your awareness and remember what you are choosing as your purpose within this lifetime. And as you do so, you begin to connect and bridge the gap between the intellect, the portion of yourself that is pointed towards physical reality, and the inner self that is the creator of physical reality itself. I, of course, will exist always within the inner reality, and maybe one day we will meet. I wish you a fond good afternoon and best wishes for your dream adventures.